Hi friends. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I want to tell you a story from the Torah and a story from my own life. And I hope this helps you remember something really important. Even when we feel scared or alone, God never leaves us. We're going to talk about a man named Jacob, a scary night, a wrestling match, and how holding on can make us stronger than we ever thought possible. So, let's start with our Torah story from a section called Parashat Vayishlach. In this part of the Torah, Jacob is getting ready to do something very, very hard. He has to meet his brother, Esau. Now, if you remember their story, Jacob and Esau didn't part on the best of terms. Jacob had tricked Esau, and Esau was very angry. Jacob ran away and has been gone for many, many years. But now, he's coming back home, and he knows he has to face his brother. Jacob is so scared. He's thinking about all the mistakes he made when he was younger. He's worried Esau is still angry. He hears that Esau is coming to meet him with 400 men. That sounds terrifying, right? Jacob feels completely overwhelmed. He does everything he can think of to prepare. He divides his family into 2 groups. He prepares a huge gift for Esau, and he prays to God with all his heart. Then, night comes, after sending his family and all his belongings across the river, Jacob is left all by himself. It's dark, it's quiet, and he is totally alone with his fear. And then, something incredible happens. Out of the darkness, a man appears, and he and Jacob start to wrestle. They wrestle all night long, from when the sun went down until the first light of morning started to peek over the horizon. Now, who was this mysterious man? Slow rabbis who study the Torah teach us that this wasn't just any man. This was an angel, a messenger sent from heaven. Why would God send an angel to wrestle with Jacob? The rabbis explain that this wrestling match was a way to help Jacob get ready for the hard thing he had to do. The angel was helping Jacob face his own fears, his own worries, right there in the dark, sometimes. Before we can become brave on the outside, we have to have a little wrestle with the things that scare us on the inside. This whole night was Jacob's test to see if he was ready for the next chapter of his life. Now, I want to tell you a little story about myself. Because not too long ago, I had a night where I felt just like Jacob. I wasn't getting ready to meet a brother I hadn't seen in 20 years. I was facing something that felt really big and really scary to me. I felt afraid, and I felt confused. I didn't know what to do next. And I remember sitting in the quiet and just wondering, God, are you still with me? Do you see how scared I am right now? It really felt like I was wrestling inside my own heart. One part of me wanted to just give up and hide. Another part of me wanted to keep going. I kept asking myself, should I quit? Should I push forward? Does God even hear my prayers right now? It was a hard night, a very quiet night. A night that felt like it would never, ever end. Just like Jacob, I was alone in the dark, wrestling with my own feelings. Let's go back to Jacob's story. The Torah tells us that as the sun was about to come up, the angel saw he couldn't win against Jacob. So the angel touched Jacob's hip, and it made Jacob's leg feel sore. So he walked with a little limp. When the sun finally rose, Jacob was different. He walked forward, but with a limp. Now, you might think, oh no! The angel hurt Jacob. That sounds like a punishment. But our wise teachers tell us to look at it a different way. The limp wasn't a punishment at all. It was a sign. It was a sign that Jacob had gone through something really difficult and had grown from it. He was stronger now, even if his body felt a little weak. Think about it like this. When you exercise or do a really big stretch, sometimes your muscles feel sore the next day, right? Does that mean you hurt yourself? No! It means your muscles are growing and becoming stronger. Jacob's limp was like that soreness. It was a physical reminder of the spiritual strength he gained during that long night of wrestling. It meant he had become stronger. And here is the most important part of the whole story. Hooray! As the angel is about to leave, Jacob does something amazing. He's tired, he's sore, but he holds on tight and says, "I will not let you go until you bless me." Think about how brave that is. What Jacob was really saying is, I'm not giving up. I've wrestled all night. I'm going to keep holding on and trusting that there is a blessing waiting for me on the other side of this struggle. And that night, when I was feeling so scared and alone, I remembered Jacob's words. At dinner I saw a real angel, but I looked up and I said something very similar in my heart. I said, "God, I'm not giving up. I feel scared, but I'm going to hold on. Please help me. Please show me there's a blessing here." And as I just kept holding on, slowly, things started to feel a little bit lighter. The big, heavy feeling in my heart started to lift, just a little. So, did Jacob win or lose the wrestling match? It's a great question. 2. The angel gives him the answer. Says to Jacob, "Your name will no longer be Jacob. Your new name is Israel." And he explains why. He says, "Because you have wrestled with God and with men, and you have prevailed. You didn't give up." Jacob won not because he was the strongest person in the world. He won because he kept holding on. He won because his faith was strong enough to keep him in the fight until he got his blessing. And you know what? That's how I feel. I won my test. 2. I didn't suddenly get superpowers. I didn't magically know all the answers to my problems. But I just didn't let go of God. And the most important part is, God didn't let go of me. Even when I felt weak, God's hand was holding me steady. Winning isn't always about being the strongest. Sometimes it's just about being the one who holds on the longest. And what happened next for Jacob? 4. When the sun came up, he was a new person with a new name. He had his limp, his reminder of his struggle, but he also had a new courage. He walked forward and met his brother Esau. And instead of a fight, Esau ran to him, hugged him, and they cried together. The thing Jacob was so afraid of turned into a moment of love and forgiveness. The new morning was beautiful. And for me, when my long night finally ended, I felt peaceful again. The sun came up in my heart. I felt like God had been holding me the whole time, Evan, when I was too scared to feel it. And that's what I really want you to know today. If you are ever feeling scared, or sad, or confused about something, it's okay. It might feel like a long, dark night. But please remember Jacob. Remember that God is with you, even when it feels like you're wrestling all by yourself. God will walk with you into a new morning. You just have to hold on. Even if you can only hold on with one pinky finger, that's enough. Just hold on and trust that a blessing is coming. Sometimes we all feel like Jacob, afraid, alone, and unsure. But if we hold on to God, even just a little, the morning will come. And we will find our blessing. Thanks for listening, friends. I'll see you next time.